Psalms 139. Psalms 139 is truly one of my favorite psalms. Last Sunday we looked a little bit about the mercy of God and how that God is a God of mercy, and He connects with us as humans on the basis of mercy. That's one of the ways we connect with God, is as we experience His mercy. And His mercy is everlasting, and we didn't have time to unpack all of that, but I trust you were blessed and edified. But today we want to look a little bit at the thought of oneness with God. Oneness with God. And God is a God, the Bible says that God is one. There is one God. Now we believe in the Trinity, we believe in the body of Christ, and we believe in all that the Scriptures teach us, but there's an element about God that He is one. We're going to unpack that a little bit more as we go along here. But in Psalms 139, to me, this is one of the Psalms, my Bible, the heading, it says, God's perfect knowledge of man. So for you and I to actually experience oneness with God, we have to accept the idea that God has a perfect knowledge of us. That enables us to perfectly connect with God. And if you want to, as if you think about it in your marriage or in other relationships in your life, the more you get to know each other, the more you're able to be vulnerable with each other and honest with each other, it actually creates more of a oneness. Isn't that interesting? The more you get to know each other. And that's how it is with God. That's why God beckons us and begs us on the basis of honesty to come to Him, and He will meet with us. He doesn't say, clean yourself up first, figure everything out, get everything fixed in your life, and then I'll be your God. No, He says, I'm looking for hearts that are broken, hearts that are saying, I can't figure this out, I don't know how to do it. Hearts that are contrite, that are saying, I've actually really messed it up. Those are the hearts that He's looking for, and He says He will meet with them. So this psalm, just in such almost shocking ways, exposes and reveals God's perfect knowledge of you. And just allow this to process, to penetrate your heart. And in fact, I have to say this, not only is this song really special in this way, but this song has taken on a whole new specialness to us as a family, because a few weeks before David left us, he wrote out this psalm, told his brother, I'm writing this for Mama and Papa, and hid it somewhere, and we found it a week after his funeral. And so this psalm just, it's really, anytime I'm ready to say, okay, God, I don't think you understand all of this stuff, this song comes to my mind. I'm like, okay, God, you know me. I accept it. I want to know you. So Psalm 139, O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know my sitting down and my rising up. You understand my thought afar off. You comprehend my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word of my tongue, but behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You have hedged me behind and before, and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it. Friends, today our God is such an amazing God that knows us so intimately. I believe that if for 2 seconds, if the world around us and our neighbors, if like Ethan told us, if their eyes would be open and they get a revelation of who God is, they would run from their sin, they would run from their bondages into the arms of God. Our God is so good, so amazing, so wonderful. And that is what we come to comprehend as we go through trials and challenges, as we process that and allow God to teach us. He just shows us He knows the details. He knows it all. Come unto me. Stop carrying your burdens. Stop trying to fix your life. I'm your creator. And friends, if people would realize that, they would run to God. Because that is our God. And I had to just put that in as that verse 6. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend into heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you're there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall fall on me, even the night shall be light about me. Indeed, the darkness shall not hide from you, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you. In fact, you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed. And in your book they are all written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. How precious also are your thoughts to me, O God. How great is the sum of them. If I should count them, they would be more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Oh, that you would slay the wicked, O God. Depart from me, therefore, you bloodthirsty men, for they speak against you wickedly. Your enemies take your name in vain. They have no idea what they're saying when they work against you. You're such a wonderful God. I hate them, O Lord, who hate you. I do not loathe those who rise up against you. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties, and see if there's any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Friends, today, what a God we have, that we can be one with, that we can function in fellowship with, in perfect oneness with. And as we come to know a God like this, instead of us frantically orchestrating our lives to get to know God, God already knows me, and through the complexities of life reveals himself to me. That is the kind of God we're serving. That is the kind of God who made us, is a God who already knows us. Now in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, it tells us in verse 4 about the people that aren't walking in oneness with God. It says, the God of this age has blinded them, has blinded their minds, lest the light of the gospel, the glory of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine on them. For it is the God who commanded light to shine out of darkness, who has shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. So really, the world around us who isn't functioning in the oneness of God, who isn't opening their hearts to God, it's because their minds are blinded. It's because they have the gospel has not been revealed to them through the revelation of Jesus Christ. It's not because there's some terrible, miserable people who don't want to hear about God necessarily. It's because somehow, through the revelation of Christ, God has not been revealed to them. And so the responsibility upon us as people of God is to be a reflection of the glory of God, to show to the people around us that really there's a God that we can serve and know. Why wouldn't you want to serve God? Why wouldn't you want to open your heart to this God who knows all and is all? So not only do we share the message of the gospel with people, but we are the message. Our lives reflect, whether we wanted to or not, our lives show to the people around us an image of the God that we serve. So we want to look at 3 different points as we think about this idea of oneness with God. The first point is that within every human there's this God-shaped vacuum. And I forget who actually mentioned that thought first. That's a quote or an idea. Actually, I think I have it written down here, but I didn't write who authored it. But it says, there's a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every person, and it can never be filled by any created thing. It can only be filled by God, made known through Jesus Christ. So within every human, this. We've tried religion. We've tried recreation. We've tried all these things that people around us or the world around us might say, well, this is the ultimate. This will truly satisfy. And when we go to try it, we realize it doesn't meet that deeply. So within every human being, there is a God-shaped vacuum that can only be filled by God Himself. So salvation is not a formula where we gain some ticket to heaven, but it's an encounter with God. It's an encounter with God. And yes, thank God it affects our eternal destiny, but more than that, it affects our life here and now, where we actually experience God living within us. I just love Paul as he was ministering throughout the book of Acts. That day when he came up, there was a Mars Hill, and there was these people that had God figured down to a science. What did they have? They had how many gods? Was it 100 gods? But they actually had a god, had an idol there to the unknown God, just in case they missed anything. I'm telling you, they had it all figured out, didn't they? And Paul just walks up amongst those people, and he begins talking to them about the God they didn't know. The God that they weren't personally relating to. And I just love how personal and present and real he broke it down to them. And he said, this God is not far from every one of you. In fact, in Him you live and move and have your being. Wow. What, I'm sure that just blew their minds as he shared that with them. That this unknowing God is actually close and personal and wants to be intimate with you. What an amazing reality as Paul delivered to them that shocking message. The God that fills that inner vacuum. So the first point was we have a God-shaped vacuum. The second point is God is seeking us. God is seeking us. And yes, we can quote the scripture where it says, draw near to God and He will draw near to you. But I believe what the psalmist there is saying is, in reality, is that we need to pull the stops. We need to get rid of the hindrances in our life that are hindering us from truly experiencing God. And as we do that, God will draw near to us. We will experience Him in our lives. We will come to know Him in a deep and intimate way. So, I don't know about you, but I grew up with some of the understanding. Maybe it wasn't even said in these words, but it was the idea that somehow we need to put in a certain amount of hours of seeking God, or do it like this person did back in 1801, or do it this way or that way. And while people have encountered God in many different ways, the rest that it brings to our soul when we realize that God, in fact, is seeking us. And when we open our heart to that knowledge, and we begin to believe that and open our heart and begin to encounter God in our lives in a personal way, and that, in fact, is why He sent His Son to die for us, so that every single one of the judgments against us could be moved out of the way, so that He could, in fact, come to us freely, and we can open our hearts and say, yes, I'm yours, even though I have this record. Even though I've proven myself the way I've been, I can open my heart to you, because the debt has been paid, the punishment has been taken care of, and I can truly be your son, be your daughter completely. That just brings such freedom. And as I observed young people in those situations, that had this wrong concept of needing to somehow wrestle their way into God. And yes, sometimes we do face things that cause us to wrestle. Yes, at times we do. But what it did in people's lives, there was people that were lifted up, like they did it, and they made it. And other people were discouraged, like, how can I figure this out? And how can I make this happen in my life? But realize that Jesus has leveled the field. It's at the foot of the cross where we can open our heart and we can say, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. And He begins speaking to that soul. And He begins speaking to you and I personally and intimately. That is our God. That is the revelation of God that Moira needs to see, that Brushland needs to see, that Malone needs to see, that there's a God that is seeking them. He has come to seek and save those that are lost. I love the verses in Revelations to the churches. I stand at the door and knock. He's standing at the door knocking. If any man will hear my voice and open the door to me, I will come into him and sup with him and he with me. Wow, what a staggering invitation to the churches in Revelation that thought they had everything together. And he's saying, in fact, you really missed the most important part. Friends, today we have an opportunity to realize that we have a God that is seeking us. And I just can't go on without mentioning a lost sheep. The shepherd left the 99 to go out and seek the lost sheep. Friends, today, if that doesn't show you a merciful God, if that doesn't show you a God that has oneness and intimacy with his people, he's looking for that lost sheep. It was still a sheep, but it was lost, it was confused, and it fell over the cliff. Wherever it was a God. There was God revealed through Jesus Christ, that the heart of God will leave the 99 and seek out that lost sheep. And not only that, when he returns with it, when they find the lost coin, they throw a party. And even now today, when a sinner repents, there's joy in heaven. I'm telling you, God is excited about seeking sinners. He invested his own Son into the cause. What an intimate, staggering investment. Here's a quote that really penned it well. I'm beginning now to see how radically the character of my spiritual journey will change when I no longer think of God as hiding out and making it as difficult as possible for me to find him, but instead as the one who is looking for me when I am done doing the hiding. Friends, today, it's us that do the hiding. It's us that do the running. It's us that close our heart. God is seeking, but he's waiting for us to stop hiding. He's waiting for us to open the closet doors, to pull out the slideshows that hurt us, to pull out these things and to say, here I am, God. I will oneness with you. So not only do we have a God-shaped vacuum, but God is seeking us. The third point is that salvation, true salvation, is a restoration of the oneness with God. There's many things God does for us. He heals people. He saves people from incredible things. He invites us to spend eternity with him. He's preparing now for that. You know, there's so many things that are so amazing about our salvation, but the fact that you and I can now approach the God of heaven with confidence and even with boldness, asking for mercy, asking for grace, asking for the things that we need, because we have a Father that loves to give. We have a Father that cares for us. But restoring that oneness with God is the most amazing reality of our salvation. And when that truly grips us, when we truly realize that, it enables us to go through prison. It enables us to go through suffering, because we can feel that oneness with God that actually becomes more intimate and more personal as we go through sufferings and trials and testings. John 17. One of the most intimate prayers in Scripture, where Jesus was here on the earth right before that hour of darkness, and he was praying to his Father. He expresses the most intimate parts of his heart and his purpose. And he said, Father, I in them, and you in me, that we may be perfectly one. That we may be perfectly one. No longer this striving between us and God, but a oneness. As Jesus was praying that prayer, he was revealing his heart, that the oneness he has with his Father, that his disciples and you and I can experience that today, that we can pray in Jesus' name and we can come to the Father boldly. And I just love that moment when Jesus had risen from the grave, and Mary comes to the tomb. She's weeping. She is distraught. She begins speaking to the keeper of the garden, who she thought was the keeper of the garden. It was Jesus himself. And Jesus reveals himself to her. He says, don't touch me yet. Don't touch me yet. But he says, I give you a special message. Go to the disciples and tell them that I'm ascending to my God and your God, to my Father and your Father. The family is complete. There's oneness. Some are on earth, some are in heaven, but it's one family, and it's because of the work of Christ that he ascended and triumphed over all that works against them. Oneness. There's something within us that longs for that. In all of us, we long for oneness and intimacy. That's one of the precious things about marriage, is the oneness as we together allow God to work in us, the oneness that God creates. Yesterday, I'm not sure what prompted it, but Martha sent me this text while I was working, and she said, just tell me, if I can find it here. Let's see where. Let's see. If you could say just one word to me, what would it be? Just for fun. I was like, as I was working, I was thinking, one word, and I think she knows this is not my, I don't get real excitement out of questions like this. So I was like, you know what, Joe, she put me up, I'll give it my best shot. So I thought about a lot of different things and was working and thought about many different parts of my life that I appreciate, her life and my life with God. And as I didn't even at that point really know officially what I was going to be preaching on, but as I processed it, and she probably gave up on me. It was like, I don't know, a half hour later, whatever, I text back the word oneness. Oneness. An experience that God has for us. Not only between him and us, but between those that God brings in our life, and especially in marriage. What an opportunity. But, you know, as I process that in my life, I realize that is really so much of the secret of so much of the complexities of life. You know, if in our marriage, if we have other things that are our goal or our obsession, it's going to destroy oneness. And I really need to be concerned in my marriage about oneness with my wife. As I think about child training, you know, there's many complex things. There's many times you scratch your head, now what do you do? But if you have another goal other than having a oneness with your child, if you want them to be something or do something or have some other obsession about your child, if your main goal is oneness with them, that will change the way you train them. And yes, they're going to have to open their heart to that. But if that is your goal, it sheds a whole new light on child training. Because all of our children are different. And what an opportunity to pursue oneness with them. To figure out what that looks like and how to do that. I found a quote that said, most fights, listen to this, most fights are really protests over emotional disconnection. It's very true. Most fights, the thing you're fighting about isn't really the issue. It's the sense of the feeling of the loss of oneness and the desperation. I want to experience oneness. So we're made not only to experience this with God, but with others in our lives. And that is why the psalmist said, such knowledge is too wonderful. This is an opportunity we have. So some time ago I shared on Psalms 23. And ever since then, I've been wanting to talk a little bit more about the fact in verse 2 where David, as he talked about God, he said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. So normally we think of pastures as a place to feed, a place to get our hunger quenched, and it is for a sheep, not for me, for sheep. A pasture is a place that sheep go and to graze and to receive nourishment. But the psalmist says he makes me to lie down in green pastures. So he's painting the picture of not just nourishment, but a place where this sheep gets refueled, where this sheep gets restored, where this sheep gets renewed in this picture of a green pasture. That's the most amazing sight. It's just seeing a nice rolling green pasture and sheep laying down in that pasture. And I've been wanting to expound on that, and I just felt like today would be a good day to shed some more light on that, because many times we narrow down our vision and concept of a oneness with God to certain formulas or certain practices or certain experiences, when really God likes to show up in our lives in many different ways, and it's different for all of us. Just like it's different, if I want to connect with my one child, I might take that child fishing. If I want to connect with Melody, I probably wouldn't take her fishing. But He's interested in a oneness with us. And so practically in our lives, this shows up in many different ways. And sometimes we only think of connecting with God as when I read my Bible, or when I pray, or when I sing some songs. And we narrow down these green pastures refueling experiences, and we miss out on how creative and amazing God is. So I just want to shed some light on how does God actually do this. When we think of green pastures, I think of an atmosphere of rest, care, provision. Maybe they were, chased by some enemies for a while. Now they're laying in some green pastures. Oh, shepherd, how did you know this was here? This is so amazing. And truly this is the heart of God, because in his true representative, Jesus Christ, who came to the earth as God and man, He said, "Come unto me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, I will give you rest." So this is so interwoven into so much of the gospel, is truly this heart of God to grant us rest. And so there's many ways to draw near. There's one way to be reconciled to God through Jesus Christ, but there's many ways that we can draw near to God. And I do want to say before I go into some of these, nothing can replace the power of the Word in our lives. I don't want to minimize the Word of God. The psalmist says, "Thy word I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against you." We need the Word of God. That is a foundation in our lives. It cleanses us. It prepares us. The words of Paul to Timothy, "Study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that needs not to be ashamed." So the need for the Word of God in our lives is very important. I don't want to minimize that. But I also want us to see how creative God is and how He made us to experience oneness through some of the most everyday parts of our lives. And how, as we begin to understand this, we can actually begin to plan refueling times in our lives. Usually with a car, we don't wait till it runs out of gas to start looking for a gas station. No, we're seeing the gauge go down, and we're watching the mile sign, so many miles to exit. I think it's time to stop for fuel. We're not out yet. We're going 65 miles an hour. Everything's good, but I'm going to stop, get refueled, maybe check the oil, and whatever we need to do, so this car just stays on course. And I think we need to understand that about ourselves, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We need refueling times. Hello? We really do. We're not superhumans. We're new creatures, but we're still humans. And we need to remember that. So, I wanted to share, Martha and I were at a marriage weekend recently, and they went over some of these points in helping us to understand what refuels our spouse, for example. But I love the practical thoughts. So I'm going to read through these, and I thought about handing this out to you, but I really don't think that's necessary. As I read through these, pick out a few that are you. And do that more in your life, and maybe even try some other things. So Let's see. So the first one that they mentioned was the creation pathway. I feel closest to God when I'm surrounded by what He has made. The mountains, the forests, the lakes, or the sea. Seeing God's beauty in nature is more moving to me than understanding new concepts, participating in a formal religious service, or participating in social causes. The psalmist said, the heavens declare the glory of God. He was experiencing God as he was observing the heavens. He was experiencing oneness with God. So the first one was the creation pathway. The second one is the intellectual pathway. Listen to this. I feel closest to God when I participate in several hours of uninterrupted study time, reading God's Word or good Christian books, and then perhaps having an opportunity to teach or participate in a discussion with a small group. Some people, that just refuels them. Just get the Bible and study it. That might not be you. You might experience God out under the sunshine or under the moon in a deeper way than you do here in this building. That's okay. Just be refueled by God. I still think there's value in assembling with other people that are coming to know God. But we can't live it the way God wants to connect with us. He's really creative and He's made us different. And so your wife might be in the middle of a busy day and there's a lot of work to do, but she said, you know what? I really just need to go on a walk. And you say, what? Go on a walk? There's work to be done. I just need to get refueled. Amen. Okay, go get refueled. Because you know when she comes back, the work will get done. We need to understand each other. But the purpose of this is for you to understand yourself. And maybe you're closing your heart to God when you're out on the golf field or somewhere when God's wanting to reveal Himself to you there. Because He shows up in so many ways. Creation, intellectual. And actually, that one to me, I don't know, through the busyness of life, that one has helped to keep me on track. Is to have the opportunity to get in God's Word and seek God for sermons and seek God for wisdom. And God just, even this morning, I had a terrible, I was sick during the night. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I was thinking through the brothers here and thinking, who am I going to call to preach today? Because I was dizzy, I didn't feel well, I didn't know what was going to happen. I tried to get up at 3 and I couldn't. I woke up at 5 o'clock and I was still sick. And finally about 6, I'm going to get up. And as I began to spend time in the Word, it was just like, whew, the Lord just strengthened me, and somehow I'm here today. So anyway, there's ways we can